Hi, this is Tom Pyle, and I'm going to be walking you through using Adobe Premiere Elements 8 in order to create a digital story. This is, however, only a dummy run, and will probably not go on my final project at all. So, I'd like to give a shout out to all my homies who can see me. And here you see you name your project. Let's call it Test Dummy. And as it loads, you get a beautiful gray screen, and a bunch of options. As you can see, it's still loading. Now, I have a bunch of leftover stuff, which I am going to throw out because I don't need it. In order to get media, you go under Organize to the Get Media button, unsurprisingly. Go to PC, File, or Folders. You have a bunch of other options here. For instance, if you want to import straight from a camera, if you have a bunch of photos on one, that might be useful. DVD, camcorders, whatever. Even your mobile phone. But we're looking at things I stole off of Google Image Search the other night while pretending to work. Demonstration project materials. Now we just drag and click, select all of them, open, give it a few moments. As you see, they've shown up. Now, our overwhelming theme here is the ooh, and we have the option here of having them show up in a scene line, which shows you things bit by bit. For instance, if I drag them here, it shows up, and I drag my generation, and so on and so forth. Let's just pull in a few because this is just demonstration. This guitar has seconds to live indeed. Alright, now we go back to timeline. Oh, we are so zoomed out. That is crazy. Now, as you see here, it doesn't give you a very long timeline by default. If we hit play here, we'll see, well, it plays. And unfortunately, that's a little boring. Now, the essence of a digital story, in addition to having the gift of your voice, which I'm providing you right now, is that you will be able to add a blank slide of some kind, which I'm going to figure out how to do later. With this, you would add text. Here it says, oh, add text. That's astonishing, isn't it? I know, right? What else would you do? Now, unfortunately, you do get the idea that if you delete all of it, it won't let you type anything, which is ridiculous. However, if you click here, you can start again. The Who, a rock and roll band of some kind. I believe they would agree with this assessment of themselves. You can drag your text around. Over here you can have various other text editing options. You can center your text. You can change the font of your text. Let's say we want to try Blackadder. Ooh, that's completely illegible. Now let's go down. Courier Standard. Alright. That looks good. Actually, no it doesn't. It looks horrible. However, it's also relatively easy to see, and we can adjust the color here. Let's make it a hideous avocado green. Alright. Okay. Now, we put that effect over it. Let's hit play. You see it pops up here. It will stay as it plays. And then when it shift slides, it will go away. Now, let's see if I put the text here in woo. Let's add some text. Some text. Oops, I deleted it again. Let's go up here. We are sure adding some text here, aren't we? That's a little ugly though where it's positioned, so we're going to center it. Center the text more explicitly. And change the colors to blue. Now then, if I understand this correctly, oh well, we see it there, but if we go back, it pops up at that given point, doesn't it? Although it does last for about the same amount of time. Goes up here to the video 2 channels. You can see there are several video channels. Anyway, you'd also be able to add some kind of a soundtrack, which I'm not going to mess around with because it's 2:30 in the damn morning. But you would get media in much the same way. You would then add it. Now, what you can also do right quick, just to show you, you can expand these slides. For instance, let's make that one bigger, which pushes everything back, and then let's make this one longer, which also pushes everything back. But we can also shrink down the live that leads, which will reduce the overall factor. If you're working with video clips, you can also clip them in half, which can be useful if you're trying to, for instance, edit documentation, or, you know, permanently remove what someone has filmed artistically in order to prove some other point. It is a fairly robust and full-featured tool. And up here we can even adjust clip lengths. And then we go back down. And now we can see where that goes, can't we? Alright. Well, anyway, once you're all done messing around with this, you'd also have the option to record narration, which unfortunately I'm not sure I can do while recording this walkthrough. However, you can also add a soundtrack, which will allow you to alter various volumes. And, well, anyway, you're all done. You're tired of this entire thing. You go over here to where it says Personal Computer. Export for viewing on computers. Then you have a bunch of various options. We're going to go with Adobe Flash Video because that's relatively short. Presets, which have been established. There's Advanced here, which lets you set a bunch of details. For instance, we can make the frame width higher. You can either keep it locked together, which would mean, for instance, that if I set it to 640, oops, we'll have to rename the yep, well, there it goes. Anyway, as you can see, it will then give you a bunch of details on whatever it is you're creating. Gives you a bunch of other estimates. For instance, AVI, it doesn't even try. MPEG, it ballparks everything at 18.8 megabytes. You know what? Let's do that. That should save us something a little more high quality, which is generally important. Save. Your video is currently being rendered and saved. That's strange. I'm not sure why that happened. Anyway, leaving all that aside and this possible bug with Camtasia, save completed. Hooray! And that about does it for this walkthrough. That's it. In the full version, we will be able probably see somewhat more details. Thanks a lot. Bye.